Ever spent hours planting your favorite flowers or veggies, only to watch them struggle or die because of the weather, pests, or just plain bad luck? Trust me, I've been there too. But what if I told you that most of these problems have simple solutions? In this video, I'll walk you through the 10 biggest seasonal garden challenges and share practical tips to help you overcome them. By the end, you'll be ready to tackle anything Mother Nature throws your way. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm John, and I'm passionate about helping you create the garden of your dreams. Today we're diving into seasonal garden challenges, those pesky problems that pop up with every change in the weather. Whether you're a beginner or a seasoned gardener, this video is packed with tips to save your plants and keep your garden thriving all year round. Let's jump into the first challenge. Challenge number 1, weather changes. All right, let's talk about the weather. You know, the weather is like that one unpredictable friend who always shows up uninvited and somehow manages to ruin the party. One day it's scorching hot, like I can't even step outside kind of hot. The next day, boom, it's freezing cold and you're scrambling to find your winter jacket. And then, out of nowhere, it starts pouring rain, like the sky just decided to open up and dump everything it's got. Now here's the thing, your plants, they feel all of this too. Extreme heat can dry them out, leaving them wilted and struggling to survive. Frost? Oh, frost is like a silent killer. It can sneak in overnight and wipe out your entire garden before you even realize what's happening. And heavy rains? They can drown your plants' roots, leaving them waterlogged and gasping for air. But don't worry, I've got your back. Let's talk solutions. First, for those scorching summer days, you need to protect your plants from the heat. How? Use shade nets. They're like sunscreen for your garden, keeping your plants cool and preventing them from getting sunburned. Now, when winter frost comes knocking, you've got to act fast. Grab some frost blankets or even old bed sheets. Yes, bed sheets. Cover your plants at night to keep them warm and cozy. It's like tucking them in with a blanket so they can sleep through the cold. And for those heavy rains, you've got to make sure your garden doesn't turn into a swimming pool. The key is proper drainage. You can create raised beds to keep your plants above the water level, or mix sand into the soil to help it drain better. Think of it as giving your garden a good pair of rain boots, so it can handle whatever the skies throw at it. Simple, right? With these tips, you can tackle the weather like a pro. Now let's move on to the next challenge, because trust me, there's more to talk about. Challenge number 2, pests and insects. Next up, let's talk about pests and insects. Oh, these little troublemakers. They're like those uninvited guests who show up at your party, eat all your snacks, and leave a huge mess behind. Seriously, have you ever seen aphids, caterpillars, or beetles in action? They're like tiny, hungry monsters that love to feast on your plants, especially during certain seasons when they're most active. Aphids, they'll suck the life out of your plants, leaving them weak and stunted. Caterpillars, they'll munch through your leaves like it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. And beetles, they'll chew holes in everything, turning your beautiful garden into their personal playground. It's frustrating, I know, but here's the good news. You don't need harsh chemicals to deal with them. Nope, you can go the organic route and still win the battle. One of my favorite solutions is neem oil. It's like a natural pest repellent that keeps those bugs away without harming your plants. Just mix it with water, spray it on, and watch those pests run for the hills. Another simple trick? A soap water spray. Yep, just mix a few drops of mild soap with water, and you've got yourself a DIY pest killer. It's safe, effective, and super easy to make. And here's a pro tip. Try companion planting. For example, plant marigolds near your tomatoes. Marigolds are like the bodyguards of the garden. They repel pests and keep your tomatoes safe. It's a natural, chemical-free way to protect your plants, and it looks pretty too. So don't let those pesky insects ruin your garden. With these simple solutions, you can keep them under control and let your plants thrive. Now let's move on to something equally important, your soil. Challenge number 3, soil quality. Now let's talk about something that's absolutely crucial for your garden. Soil quality. Think of your soil as the foundation of your garden. If the foundation isn't strong, Nothing you build on top of it will last. And just like how we need the right environment to thrive, your plants need healthy soil to grow properly. But here's the thing, soil isn't always in perfect condition. In fact, it changes with the seasons, and each season brings its own set of challenges. During the summer, the soil can become dry and hard, like a rock. It's tough for roots to penetrate, and your plants struggle to get the nutrients and water they need. Then, in the rainy season, the soil can get waterlogged. Too much water drowns the roots, and your plants end up suffocating. And in winter, the soil can become too cold, making it difficult for roots to grow and absorb nutrients. So what's the fix? It's all about giving your soil a little TLC. First, add compost to enrich the soil. Compost is like a superfood for your garden. It's packed with nutrients that feed your plants and improve soil structure. It's like giving your soil a vitamin boost. Next, use mulch. Mulch is like a cozy blanket for your soil. It helps retain moisture, especially during hot summers, and keeps the soil temperature stable. Plus, it prevents weeds from taking over. Win-win. And if your soil gets waterlogged during the rainy season, mix in some sand. Sand improves drainage, so your plants don't end up sitting in water. It's like giving your soil a good pair of rain boots, so it can handle heavy rains without drowning your plants. Think of it this way. By adding compost, mulch, and sand, you're giving your soil a spa treatment. And guess what? Your soil will thank you by growing healthier, happier plants. Speaking of health, let's talk about something that can really mess with your plants. Plant diseases. Challenge number 4, plant diseases. Now let's talk about something that can really wreak havoc in your garden. Plant diseases. Think of plant diseases like the flu for your garden. Just like how we get sick when the weather changes or when we're run down, plants can also fall victim to infections, especially when conditions aren't ideal. Fungal infections, rot, and mold are some of the most common culprits. And guess what? They love to show up when it's humid or wet. I remember one time I lost an entire batch of tomatoes to fungal rot. It was heartbreaking. One day they were thriving, and the next they were covered in this nasty fuzzy mold. I felt like I'd let them down. But here's the thing. Plant diseases don't have to be a death sentence for your garden. With a little care and attention, you can prevent them from taking over. First, make sure your plants have proper air circulation. When plants are too close together, it creates a damp, stuffy environment, perfect for diseases to thrive. So give your plants some space to breathe. It's like social distancing for plants. Next, avoid overwatering. Too much water can create the perfect breeding ground for fungi and bacteria. Water your plants only when they need it, and make sure the soil has good drainage. And if you do spot any signs of disease, like yellowing leaves, spots, or mold, act fast. Use a fungicide to treat the problem, or if it's too far gone, remove the affected parts immediately. Sometimes you might even need to remove the entire plant to save the rest of your garden. It's tough, but it's better than letting the disease spread. Remember, prevention is always better than cure. Keep an eye out for early signs of trouble and take action before it gets out of hand. A little vigilance can go a long way in keeping your garden healthy. Now let's talk about another common issue that can make or break your garden: watering. Challenge number 5, watering issues. All right, let's talk about something that seems simple but can actually be pretty tricky. Watering. I mean, how hard can it be, right? You just give your plants some water and they're happy. Well, not exactly. The truth is, watering is one of those things that's easy to get wrong. Overwatering can drown your plants, suffocating their roots and leading to rot. On the other hand, underwatering can leave them thirsty, causing them to wilt and struggle to survive. I've made both mistakes, and trust me, it's not pretty. There's nothing worse than seeing your plants suffer because you gave them too much or too little water. But don't worry, there's a way to get it right. The key is to find a balance. Start by creating a watering schedule based on your plant's needs in the season. Some plants need more water during hot summers, while others require less during cooler months. Pay attention to the soil. Stick your finger in it. If it feels dry an inch below the surface, it's time to water. If it's still damp, hold off for a day or two. If you want to make your life even easier, consider installing a drip irrigation system. It delivers water directly to the roots, so your plants get just the right amount without any guesswork. Or if you're growing plants in pots, try self-watering pots. They're a game changer. These pots have a reservoir that keeps the soil moist, so your plants stay hydrated without you having to water them every day. When your plants get the right amount of water, they'll thrive. You'll see healthier leaves, stronger roots, and more vibrant blooms. It's all about giving them what they need, when they need it. Now let's move on to another challenge that every gardener faces: those annoying weeds. Challenge number 6, weed growth. Now let's talk about one of the most frustrating things every gardener has to deal with: weeds. Ugh, weeds. They're like the bullies of the garden. They show up uninvited, steal nutrients, water, and space from your plants, and grow like crazy, especially during warm and wet seasons. It's like they have a secret mission to take over your garden. I remember one summer when I thought I had everything under control. My plants were growing well, the weather was perfect, and then, bam, weeds everywhere. They were popping up faster than I could pull them out. It felt like a never-ending battle. But here's the thing: you don't have to let weeds win. There are ways to keep them under control. The best way to deal with weeds is to remove them regularly. Get your gloves on, grab a weeding tool, and pull them out from the root. If you do this consistently, you'll stop them from spreading and taking over your garden. Another great trick is to use mulch. Mulch is like a protective barrier for your soil. It blocks sunlight, which weeds need to grow, and it also helps retain moisture for your plants. Spread a thick layer of mulch around your plants, and you'll see a big difference in weed growth. If you're dealing with stubborn weeds, you can try natural weed killers like vinegar or boiling water. Just be careful. These can also affect your plants if you're not precise. Spray vinegar directly on the weeds or pour boiling water at their base. It's a simple, chemical-free way to get rid of them. Yes, dealing with weeds is a bit of work, but trust me, your plants will thank you. A weed-free garden means your plants get all the nutrients, water, and space they need to thrive. Now let's talk about a mistake I've made way too many times: planting the wrong crops at the wrong time. Challenge number 7, seasonal planting mistakes. All right, let's talk about a mistake I've made way too many times: planting the wrong crops in the wrong season. It's like wearing a winter coat in the middle of summer. It just doesn't work. I'll never forget the time I planted tomatoes in winter. I was so excited, imagining all the fresh, juicy tomatoes I'd harvest. But guess what? Winter had other plans. The cold weather stunted their growth, and the plants just couldn't handle it. It was a total disaster. Lesson learned the hard way. The truth is, every plant has its ideal growing season. Some thrive in the heat of summer, while others prefer the coolness of spring or fall. Planting at the wrong time can lead to poor growth, low yields, or even losing your plants altogether. So what's the solution? It's simple. Do your research. Look up seasonal planting guides for your area. These guides will tell you exactly what to plant and when, based on your local climate. Another great tool is a crop calendar. It's like a roadmap for your garden, helping you plan what to plant each month. By following a crop calendar, you'll avoid the guesswork and give your plants the best chance to thrive. Trust me, this is a game changer. When you plant the right crops at the right time, you'll see healthier plants, bigger harvests, and a lot less stress. It's like giving your garden a head start. Now let's talk about another challenge that can really affect your plants: lack of sunlight. Challenge number 8, lack of sunlight. Let's talk about something your plants absolutely need to thrive: sunlight. Think of sunlight like coffee for your plants. Just like how we need that morning cup to get going, plants need sunlight to grow, bloom, and stay healthy. But here's the problem: sunlight isn't always consistent. In winter, the days are shorter, and your plants might not get enough light. And in some seasons, your garden might be in a spot that gets too much shade. I've had plants that look sad and stretched out, desperately reaching for more light. It's not a good look. So what can you do if your plants aren't getting enough sunlight? First, try relocating them to sunnier spots. If your garden has areas that get more light during certain times of the day, move your plants there. It's like giving them a front row seat to the sun. For indoor plants, consider using grow lights. These are like a mini sun for your plants. They provide the light spectrum plants need to photosynthesize and grow. even when natural light is limited. I started using grow lights for my indoor herbs, and the difference was incredible. They went from struggling to thriving in just a few weeks. The key is to observe your plants. If they're looking leggy, pale, or not growing as they should, they're probably craving more light. A little adjustment can make a huge difference. Now let's talk about something equally important: keeping your garden clean and tidy. Challenge number 9, garden maintenance. Now let's talk about something that might not sound exciting, but is absolutely essential. Garden maintenance. Think of it like brushing your teeth. It's not always fun, but it's necessary if you want to keep things healthy and looking good. In different seasons, your garden has different needs. During spring, you might need to prune and trim to encourage new growth. In autumn, you'll be busy cleaning up fallen leaves and debris. And in winter, you'll want to protect your plants from the cold and prepare them for the next growing season. The key to staying on top of it all is to create a seasonal maintenance checklist. This checklist will help you keep track of what needs to be done and when. For example, regularly remove fallen leaves to prevent pests and diseases from taking over. Prune overgrown branches to improve air circulation and light penetration. Clean up debris to keep your garden tidy and reduce the risk of fungal infections. It might sound like a lot of work, but trust me, a little effort goes a long way. When you stay on top of maintenance, your garden will look better, your plants will be healthier, and you'll save yourself from bigger problems down the road. Now let's talk about something that can make all of this easier: the right tools. Challenge number 10, lack of knowledge about seasonal tools. All right, let's talk about something that can make or break your gardening experience: using the right tools for the right season. Think of it like having the right gear for a workout. You wouldn't wear flip-flops to run a marathon, right? Similarly, using the wrong tools in the wrong season can make gardening way harder than it needs to be. But here's the thing: many gardeners struggle with knowing which tools to use when. I've been there too, standing in my garden, staring at a pile of tools, wondering which one to grab. For example, pruning shears are a must-have for winter. They help you trim and shape your plants, getting them ready for spring growth. Frost covers are another winter essential. They protect your plants from freezing temperatures, acting like a cozy blanket. In summer, mulch is a lifesaver. It keeps the soil cool, retains moisture, and suppresses weeds. And let's not forget about watering tools like soaker hoses or drip irrigation systems, which are perfect for keeping your plants hydrated during hot months. The key is to do some research and invest in the right tools for each season. Once you have the right tools, learn how to use and maintain them properly. Clean them after each use, sharpen blades when needed, and store them in a dry place. It might seem like extra work, but trust me, it'll save you so much time and effort in the long run. Now let's wrap things up and recap everything we've covered. Final thoughts. And that's it, folks. We've covered the 10 biggest seasonal garden challenges and how to overcome them. From weather changes to pests, soil quality to watering issues, you're now equipped with the knowledge to handle whatever Mother Nature throws your way. Gardening isn't always easy. Trust me, I've had my fair share of failures and frustrations. But with the right tools, techniques, and a little bit of patience, you can create a garden that thrives all year round. Remember, every gardener faces challenges. It's part of the journey. But the best part? Every challenge is an opportunity to learn and grow, both for you and your plants. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know you're enjoying the content. And if you know someone who's struggling with their garden, share this video with them. Let's spread the gardening love. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more tips, tricks, and gardening inspiration. I've got plenty more videos coming your way to help you create the garden of your dreams. Before you go, drop a comment below and tell me, which challenge do you struggle with the most? Is it pests, watering, or something else? I'd love to hear from you and maybe even feature your questions in future videos. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, gardening is not just about growing plants, it's about growing joy, patience, and a deeper connection with nature. So get out there, get your hands dirty, and happy gardening.